Now, if you want to crown them, but they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
The Armchair Quarterback Show, weekdays, coast to coast, Southern Sports Talk Radio. Your first choice for sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Slide here is your ex. But if that's the call, Mike, Will, and Sam all have to know they're shifting. Open palms to post, thumbs ups across her, thumbs downs and out. Trevor, why don't you get up here and draw that for us?
Playing real football is hard. Playing fantasy football when you got the Armchair Quarterbacks by your side makes it a lot easier. Make sure to join the Armchair Quarterbacks right here. We'll answer all your questions, pickups, trades, you name it. You want to win your league? Then listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. And don't be scared to tap that app. Find the Armchair Quarterbacks app today.
Tennessee football time.
Do you want to lose 18 pounds fast and improve your health? Now you can lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months with Nutrisystem. Get delicious breakfasts, lunches, dinners, even snacks and shakes delivered safely to your door. All delivered for free. Easy to follow, and you'll see results in your first week. Just text BURN to 323232. You'll get your favorite foods made healthier and perfectly balanced to put your body in fat burning mode. Text BURN to 323232 right now and get 50% off a month of meals and shakes. That's right, 50% off and 50% off a month of shakes with probiotics to help support your immune system. Just text BURN to 323232 right now. There's even a money back guarantee. Millions of people have lost weight with Nutrisystem, and you can too. Lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months. Just text BURN to 323232. That's BURN to 323232.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
What's happening in sports? Find out when it happens. Get the CBS Sports app free in the Android Market and iTunes App Store.
Are you a gun enthusiast? Love to shop for guns, but are also looking for friendly service? Well, you're in luck. Here in St. Augustine, Top Gun Supply is the friendly gun shop. Staff is very knowledgeable, happy to see you when you walk through the door, and can assist you with all your gun shopping needs. Top Gun Supply stocks a wide range of firearms, such as Ruger, Beretta, 6 Hour, HK, and LWRC. So stop on by at Top Gun Supply at 525 State Road 16 in St. Augustine. Top Gun Supply here in St. Augustine, the friendly gun shop, a proud sponsor of the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Are you listening to yourself?
I always listen to myself. It's one of the great joys of my life.
We live in a world now that welcomes and nurtures the screwball in all of us. Hey, it's a new decade, people. Time to get a little nutty. Treat yourself to Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, a smooth flavor that combines two of America's favorites, peanut butter and American whiskey. So no more social awkwardness. Time to embrace who you truly are. Get out there and make friends. And be sure it starts with Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. It's available nearly everywhere. Learn more at screwballwhiskey.com. Infinium Spirits. Please enjoy responsibly.
You're riding Morning Shotgun with the Armchair Quarterbacks. We're here weekdays, streaming on the Armchair Quarterbacks app. Download it today. Your first choice for sports talk here on the First Coast.
You get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. So much, I'm going to have to speed things up. You can get the Farmers Signal app, and that could get you up to 15% off your auto policy. That's just for using the app and driving like the normal speed limited hearing, full stop, making lane change, signaling human being you are. Get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. Start with a quote by calling 1-800-FARMERS.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Hey, Jacksonville, winter is the perfect time to start planning for your healthy, pest-free spring lawn with True Green, America's #1 lawn care company. True Green's science-based approach and local expertise will help give your lawn the year-round care it needs to be thick and weed-free. Go to truegreen.com/radio to save 50% on your first service. Just call 866-946-5956 or go to truegreen.com/radio today and get a lawn to be proud of.
You just robbed a house. You have all this great stuff that now belongs to you, but you got this annoying pang of guilt nagging at you. Well, worry no more, because your friends at Cell Block Greeting Cards have the answer for you. Introducing our new line of petty crime thank you cards. Before you smash and grab one of our cards and leave it behind on your next heist. Choose from any of these fine heartfelt cards like,
thank you for the plasma TV.
Or,
thanks for the PlayStation, alcohol, and penny jar.
And,
don't use your toothbrush.
Or limited time, introducing,
I'm still in the house.
And many more sentimental petty crime thank you cards.
Available at any back alley, shadowy parking lot, or
Armchair.
Hi,
everybody. It's REDSOX for the Armchair Quarterbacks. Get yourself a cold Budweiser every Saturday morning and join in the fun and watch the neighborhood play. 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. They talk about my Cubbies. It's Joey Ariola, Christian Pledge. He's a White Sox fan, but we'll give him a pass. Hey, why do they call it White Sox? Their jerseys always look very dirty to me. Sounds like something that could be cancel culture to me. Let's look into that, Cubbies fans. It's the neighborhood play, only on the YouTube channel, Armchair Quarterback Show. Harry Carrot, signing off. Seeing double, because I'm ordering triples. Go Cubbies and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Good morning. Welcome to the CATBIRD Seed. Yankees, Red Sox, Rays. That's pretty much what we talk here, the American League East. And let's rip the Band-Aid off here, Angelo. Was it the best weekend for the Bronx Bombers? How are you?
I'm all right. No, it wasn't. It was not a good weekend at all. Probably, I mean, you asked the worst case scenario, this would have been it, right?
Yeah, and Tima says this weird camera angle on us. I guess he wants us to know that they are atop the AL East.
we're looking up at them, huh?
Yeah, exactly. We're don't move that camera too much. We're gonna get from undercarriage over here going.
I'm showing off my Pelican.
How are you, Timus? I'm sure you're doing better than Angelo at this point.
Yeah, I'm okay this morning. I'm feeling all right. Last week, I said if we won 4 out of the 6, I would be happy, and that's exactly what we done. Dropped a heartbreaker on the third game of the Rays, but
yeah,
we took care of business when the Yanks came to town. So that's always a start to a good week for me.
Thankfully, Tampa took 2 out of 3 because, man, someone break up the Sox. You've got, let's look, Angelo, let's go ahead and dive into the series. I think the most glaring issue, obviously, is starting pitching. And what the hell happened to Garrett Cole? What is that? You don't expect that to happen. What say you on the state of the Yankees? What is their biggest issue right now?
Well, I mean, you could look at pitching. I said pitching last week. I mean, I wouldn't look too much into the Cole start.
No, I mean, he's allowed a bad start, but
right. And
what you expected after losing 2 is for him to come out and be the stopper and get a good start and give you a chance to win. That just didn't happen.
Now, if we see him struggle a little bit more in the next couple starts, then you could start to worry maybe whether it's adjusting to life after the spider attack or a nagging injury. He doesn't seem like someone who's gonna shut himself down if there is some sort of injury. Now, obviously, the Yankees would, right? Because he's their multi-million-dollar man, so they wouldn't want to risk that. But I think more so you have to look at the hitting in terms of, the Yankees were built to be a home run hitting team, right? When the balls were deadened, when teams around in the AL East are built to beat the Yankees, right? They have righties in the pen that throw gas. All you have to do to Yankees hitters now is just throw those outside sliders, ones that end up in the lefty's batter box, and you're going to be fine. I think that the team needs to have more contact hitters. Now, it's easier said than done. This is how we're built. But, when you have a bunch of players are home run or nothing, right? And I'm looking at the stats now, no one's hitting above 285. And a bunch of players are hitting in the 240 to 260 range. So, I mean, that's what's difficult, right? Teams around are built to beat the Yankees. I think that it's a real easy way to build a team around power hitters, right? How to get power hitters out. And that's what Boston and the Rays have done. And that's why we've been struggling against them the last few years.
Yeah, and then of course the other surprise team is yesterday was that Erod went out and pitched a really solid game. We had 8 strikeouts, 2 earned runs, so it's a quality start, which you can't ask for anything more going up against that Yankee offense. And I get it that their batting averages are putrid. It's bad when Aaron Judge is leading the team in batting average. He's supposed to be the one driving him in, and DJ LeMahieu has hit better recently than he did when he started the season. He started the season terribly, but if they can get Luke Voigt going, I think they can right the ship to a degree. But I'm with you. They've got to make some kind of a trade that gets them some kind of lightning at the top of the order to get more guys on base when these guys, because realistically, I think they're all out of whack. In other words, they need a true leadoff hitter if they can get one, and slide LeMahieu to the 2 and Judge to the 3 and Voigt to the 4, Stanton to the 5. At that point, it all falls into place. And I mean, you almost wonder, is it time to really consider trading Torres? Because first of all, he's out of position. He does not play a good, solid shortstop. And we'll have to look more into as far as what would be available in the trade market. But anyone that can get some kind of, you got to cause havoc at the top of the lineup. You've got to get guys on to get that pitcher, first of all, to get him out of the stretch, right? And that's what I see when I see the Yankees, is a bunch of guys swinging for the fence. And they've got some good talent, but the problem is they have too many guys that swing for the fence. So maybe it is time to, even though you hate to see the talent go, to trade someone like a Frazier or a Torres to get, Frazier's probably the most likely I could see getting traded, because there's got to be teams out there that would fall in love with his potential as a power guy that could possibly give you a decent. I'm not even talking about I'm not going crazy saying, oh, they're going to trade him for Franco Lindor, right? I'm talking about just a decent start of the lineup guy to lead off. Because LeMahieu, I've always thought he was a strange leadoff hitter because he's got so much pop. You want a guy on base. So your team is perfect. What do you want to complain about with that team?
Oh, we're far from perfect. I will say I was really worried. Well, the last show, we all said the same thing. D'Angelo said the same thing as I did. It comes down to starting pitching. And one thing I didn't really consider, but Judge was interviewed between the second and third game. And they asked him, what do you got to do to right the ship and stuff like that? Instead of giving just a cookie cutter answer, he didn't get Aaron Boone about it. He said, we have to score first. That's how they're beating us. And then I started looking back, and, the Yankees, D'Angelo, did the Yankees come back a lot? I don't know if that's the case, but Judge was very adamant. If they didn't score first, they were in trouble. And then when Kike hit that homer on the first pitch, you could just tell the Yankee dugout, all the air left the balloon. And I was like, Judge is really onto something there. Our defense has gotten much, much better. We lead the league in errors in our infield and everything. And we did a great job in both series, actually. The one game in Tampa, we were terrible defensively. Our starting pitch, Evaldi pitched great. Erod pitched great. And, if those guys are pitching the way they can, I'd put us up against any lineup. I'm glad they showed up when we were against the Yankees. Obviously, I wish things would have went a little different in Tampa, but they didn't. But I don't know exactly. This Yankee team is very different than what I ever remember watching, and this series just felt odd the whole way through because we're not used to running the show when we play the Yankees. It's always back and forth, and then something crazy happens. These were just legitimate baseball games, and we came out on top every time.
Yeah, as far as the Rays Red Sox series goes, I was just happy that they took 2 of 3 because I think Tampa and Boston are going to be in a dogfight the whole year long.
I do too. Yeah.
I'm expecting the Yankees to eventually catch some steam with it. There's too much talent on that offense for it not to at some point become, an offense that can start clicking. They do need to get guys who are on base more up at the top of the order, but you still have a lot of talent there. And Domingo Germán is expected back next month. At the same token, Chris Sale is expected back next month. And we're going to be going into the trade deadline. And with that being said, you're going to start hearing the rumors. The rumors really start getting hot and heavy after the All-Star break. By the way, programming note, we won't be here next Monday because with it being the 4th of July weekend, obviously it's the 5th next week, next Monday, but pretty much everyone's closed. We're not going to drag you guys into the so we'll be back on the 12th is the next show we'll do. By the time we get back to the 12th, so that'll be the All-Star break. That's when you start really hearing the heavy rumors, because there are teams that may even make moves during the All-Star break. Most teams wait about another week. But if you're adding something for the Red Sox team, it's got to be starting pitching, right?
Yeah, because I still have not drank Garrett Richards' Kool-Aid yet. I think he's going to be the odd man out. And like you said, getting Sale back, I mean, he threw 2 hitters this past week for the first time since his surgery, but that's like getting a major sign, even though it's not a trade. It has to. I think our bullpen is pretty legit. I'm not too worried about them. They can give you a cardiac arrest every now and again, but every bullpen does that. I would love another legitimate starter, number 4. I'm not talking going out and getting, a big time name or whatever, but a legitimate 4th starter that an innings eater that, will keep you in the game would, I'd feel a lot better going forward.
Angelo obviously got to get some kind of, I don't know if it's got to be a leadoff hitter, but you got to find someone who's going to be who's going to add to your offense. But you're going to get Servino back. You and I texted back and forth about how Domingo Germán is just he's a train wreck. Like you don't know what to expect from him, and it really comes down to he'll dominate the Royals, but he'll struggle against the better offenses. So he can't be in the plans come October if the team is lucky enough to make October, right? Is he a trade chip? Is he someone you would think about trading if you could get a frontline starting pitcher?
Yeah, I mean the Yankees have they have some outfield prospects. I mean you could trade him. Obviously you could trade Frazier, as mentioned before. A couple of young center fielders too in the system. But I mean when you're looking at positions the Yankees need, I was just doing some research right now about any names. I've seen Starling Marte come up a lot. He's having a good year.
The guy that I've got to throw out there, it's the obvious one. He trades the purple pinstripes for the navy blue ones, is Trevor Story. I mean, people keep talking about him being moved, and I think you could probably put Torres into obviously you'd have to give him more than just Torres, but I mean, I think he's someone that the Rockies would take a chance on because his bat is legitimate.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea right there. I think they need a center fielder, right? I mean, you can't have Judge playing center field, right? And Judge isn't.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, what the hell is going on there? I mean,
well, there's always Gardner.
Yeah, I mean, the outfielders. I mean, are not.
He came to bat this week. I don't remember which game it was. I was like, he looks like he's 60. Like he looks terrible. And I know he's in his late 30s, and he's one of my favorite players ever. It's a long story why I'm a big Gardner fan, but I just am. And he looks. I was like, looks like he's related to Daisy, but wasn't that chick's name, Timus? I think it was. I think I hit the nail.
Yes, it was.
That's a long story.
It's a long story. Yeah.
Angelo years ago, cut to the chase. He's showing me a picture of the girl that broke his heart or whatever. Shows us on Facebook or something, and I was like, "Dude, she's like 60," and we were like, we were like late 20s, early 30s or whatever. And he couldn't stop laughing. Now, granted, I'd had a couple of drinks. Was like, "That's what broke your." She's like 60.
Well, she wasn't. She just looked 60 because of the meth. Let's be honest. She's a lady.
Looking out the side of her freaking neck. Hey, Jesus,
Hopefully, she's not watching the show right now.
No, she's probably.
I mean, she's. If not, dude, I mean, 90. Congratulations. Good for you.
Good for you.
Here's another guy that I think that the Yankees absolutely should think about kicking the tires on, because he can play outfield, he can play infield, nor second base, not really a shortstop. What about Adam Frazier of the Pirates? This guy's hitting 324. His salary, they say, is $4.3 million. So you're talking about having to pay about a third of that. So I mean, that's a hell of a deal. And I think I'm pretty sure he's a free agent at year's end, which is why people keep talking about him. Oh no, he's in the middle of a 6-year deal. So if you sign him, you've got him for like the next 2 to 3 years. I mean, if you trade for him, excuse me. That's a guy that I would consider. Now, as far as Temus, you talking about a pitcher? You talking about a guy you need to start paying attention to? Kyle Gibson is a guy for the Rangers who's got barely over a 2 ERA, and he has been phenomenal. He's just in Texas, so no one's paying attention to him. But he's
it has been brought up before a couple weeks ago that, and of course everybody was saying the Yankees would probably go after him, but I mean, he's on a terrible team pitching his butt off, which is not easy to do when you don't have an offense to score runs behind you, which he doesn't. And he still has an ERA under 3. Now, I mean, he's in a division where against the Angels, Oakland, who just can't, stop hitting the ball and things like that. He would be great. I don't know what they would ask for him though, because Bloom is not Dombrowski. He's not going to just, here, take it all. We're going to win this year and then suck the next 10 years. I don't know what Texas would want for him, but I wouldn't hate that trade for sure if it didn't cost us an arm and a leg.
Now, Tampa needs offense, and the guy that I would like to see, the only problem with him is his salary for this year. He's on a 1-year deal with the Twins. Nelson Cruz would be an absolute beast in that lineup. But
I love Nelson. Yeah, he's good.
They're so cheap because they can't get any fans in Tampa. Somehow they pack the freaking hockey games and they can't get anyone to go to a baseball game in Tampa. A lot of that's got to do with the fact of where the stadium sits, but still it's ridiculous. It's just absolutely absurd. Nelson Cruz would be the guy that I would want for Tampa because I think their pitching's pretty darn good. It's going to keep them in it. Yeah, you would love to add someone like, who we just talking about, Gibson, and there's a couple. What cracks me up is when I see these trade rumors and they have guys like, who is it? Jose Urena with his 8 ERA or whatever the hell he's got him from the Tigers. Like, who wants this guy? Oh, because he signed a 1-year deal. Okay. And they got Dylan Bundy on here. I looked at him the other day because he was open in fantasy and I was like, why is he open? Well, because his ERA is over 5. So I don't know why anyone's going to be running to the window to make a trade for these guys. Your boy, Michael Pineda, they keep throwing him out there. Who the hell wants this guy? Unless he's going to put pine tar back on his neck. I
don't get how, why would you trade for like a 3 or a 4? Like if you're a team, right? If you're a team that's a buying, what's
something in the minors that you could throw up against the wall better than that?
What's the point of trading for a 4 when they're going to, if you're a postseason team, they're going to play 1 or 2 games? They're going to start?
Maybe.
Yeah. If you're, we'll just say Tampa, or I'm sorry, not Tampa, Boston or New York. You're not running Jose Urena out there in game 3 of the ALCS. Go, let's go. Oh, don't worry, man. I know he sucked in Miami and he sucked in Detroit, but now he's wearing our jersey. So now his RPMs are going to go up a lot. No, it's not how it works. If you suck elsewhere, you're probably going to suck even worse in the big market. Tyler Anderson's an interesting one that they throw out there. He's a left-handed starter. He's a solid. He is like a 3 that you could add to a team, a guy who can eat innings. He would be a decent get. Matt Boyd is another decent get. Both of them pitchers.
How about Barrios from Minnesota? I'm looking now. They're last place in the Central.
Yeah, and the only thing that would hold back Barrios is whether or not they're expecting to re-sign him. But yeah, Barrios has been heavily another guy who pitches well for Colorado. He pitches well for Colorado. Imagine what he could do elsewhere is John Gray and Herman Marquez. Both of them are really good. They're strikeout pitchers. They're what you want. I just don't know. This one's laughable. They keep saying about John Means. I'm like, if you trade John Means, are you just ever going to build anything in Baltimore? I mean, what the hell are we talking about? John Means?
Yeah, we'll take him.
Yeah, who wouldn't take him?
I mean, if they're offering, we'll take him, sure.
Now, if some of the other teams fall out of it, like I expect them to, like the Reds, Sonny Gray could be up for.
How about Washington?
Washington's on a surge. So Washington might be making trades for these guys. They're back up to second in the NL East. Before all that happened, I was thinking Scherzer, right? I was thinking, would they trade him? I don't know. They're not likely to, because they're probably going to want to re-sign him. And you trade him, and he ends up being happy elsewhere. You have a hard time prying him back.
But so they're what, 4 out of
4? Yeah,
4, and then 7 out of
wild cards is, we don't even pay attention to the wild card in the NL East this year. It's division or bust. The wild card is going to come out of the West. Maybe one could come out of the Central, but it's not coming out of the East. But remember, they were 7-8 games out of first place like a couple of weeks ago. So they've made some traction, and the Mets have hit some injuries. I think the Nationals are the biggest threat to the Mets right now, whereas going into the year you would have thought Atlanta, but Atlanta can't stay healthy. Danny Duffy's another interesting one. Left-hander, pitched for the Royals in their championship run. I think he still has a sub-2 ERA, and he's a free agent at the end of this year. People keep talking about Mad Bum. Like, who the hell wants to trade for Madison Bumgarner? They absolutely just – that's a name trade for any – because the thing is, he still has like a couple years left on that deal that he signed with Arizona. Arizona would love to trade him and get him off the books, but you're just not going to be able to move him. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll see this differently. Maybe you think, well, man, if there's a guy that I would want on the hill in October, Madison Bumgarner wouldn't be a bad one to have, right? But I just feel like he's not the pitcher he was 4 or 5 years ago. I feel like he's on the backside of his career. Am I wrong? Do I see it?
It's a name, like you said, it's a name trade. That's all it is. I mean, he's not Bumgarner of before.
They make $25 million, I would think.
I do have a question for each of you, though. I'll start with D'Angelo. What do you think is the number that the Yankees will say, okay, it's not happening this year? How many games out of first do you think the Yankees have to be before they say, all right, this ain't our year, we're not going to do the moves or whatever? If they keep sliding like they are right now, which they're probably not, but if they did, what do you think is the magic number where they say we're tapping out?
I think these next 2 series are huge, right? They have the Angels and then the Mets. If I wouldn't even look at the division.
That series is enormous.
Right.
Yeah, that's going to be a good series. Yeah.
4th of July weekend in New York. You win that series, you get momentum, right?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Can't he beat the Mets?
For me, I'd say if you're within 6 games of at least a wild card of a playoff spot, you go for it at the deadline. I say if you're in the 7 to 10 range, I wouldn't even be opposed to selling.
Would they do that though? Because that's never been their MO, except for like that.
Yeah, it's the Yankees. I
No,
don't think they know
but-
how to do that.
But is their MO isn't buying anymore either. When was the last big trade they made at deadline?
Yeah, it's been a minute, right? That's true. I had 7 in my mind. I was just curious where, as a Yankee fan, what you would think. I had around 7 out of
6,
out of it.
The reason I did 6 is that's 2 series, right? You
Yeah,
win.
yeah. I mean, they go on a hot
Then you
streak and they
win.
win.
Right.
And the Sox and the Rays lose a couple here and there. You can, yeah.
They play the Angels and Mets at home this week. Then they go out on the road, and they're at the Mariners. So that's a chance to get some momentum. And then they've got an enormous series right before the All-Star break. They're at Houston. When they come off that, listen to this schedule. When they come off that, they're at home against the Red Sox for what is that? A 4-game series. I think that's the litmus test. You get the end of that Red Sox series. If you still have a pulse, they're going to try, because at that point you'll have about 10, 11 games before the trading deadline. I think at that point you're going to see some aggressiveness if they're in it, because they go to they're home against Red Sox for 4, and then they're off one day, play home against the Phillies for 2, and then they go to Boston for 4, and then are at Tampa for 3. That final game at Tampa is July 29th.
That's a gauntlet, is
And
what
where
that is.
are you at July 20? When you wake up July 30th, if you're in this thing, you're going to be heading to Miami to play the Marlins. You would get aggressive, because you would say, all right, we've gotten through what I think is probably the toughest stretch of a schedule to have to play. When you have to play Houston, Boston, Tampa, Boston, I mean, because I'll tell you what, August looks pretty good for the Yankees. I see a lot of Royals. Royals. I see a big 8 or 7 game homestand against the Orioles and Mariners. They're home against the Twins.
Oof.
I mean, they've got a chance to make up some big time. They do have a lengthy road trip at the end of August, but by mid-August, they could really make up some room. They even played 2 games against Boston, so if they're playing well. So I really think that we may not know until July 29th if the Yankees are buyers or sellers.
All right. Well, Dave, my question for you is, what was your opinion on the third game against the Rays, where we had a no-hitter and he had 100 pitches and Cora come out and got him, even though he was throwing a no-no? He's throwing a no.
I just don't think I really don't believe that no-hitters mean anything. I think they're worthless. They're a cute little stat to throw in the corner. There's been over 300 of them in Major League Baseball, and I'm not tearing up my team because look, the Cubs had a combined no-hitter the other night, right?
Yeah, and Kimbrel didn't even know it at the end. You see his interview? He had no idea.
There you go. So they're just perfect games are huge. There's only been like 30 something in the history of baseball. So when you're talking about 300 no hitters.
Yeah, but what's the percentage of that versus overall games? I mean, that's really low. That's still something.
Still really low. Yeah, I agree.
They've become much more I feel like there's one a week nowadays because
there are a lot this year, but that's not the norm though. They're not commonplace. I mean,
I know, but you're showing your age, because what you're thinking of is baseball 20 years ago. What you're thinking of is when people wanted to put the ball in play and were embarrassed by having a golden sombrero. Nowadays, they're just trying to hit the ball out of the park, and all they worry about is their slugging percentage, their OPS. They do not care about batting averages anymore. So there are teams that are built. A lot of teams are built like the Yankees, where you don't have a lot of base runners. I think that's why Boston's doing so well this year, because they've kind of gone the other direction. And
Cora's made sure that, that's been his game plan since spring training. we're going to put traffic on.
Got to give
And
credit to the general manager because Core had nothing to do with building that team, and he's doing a great job as a manager. But I'm saying that the build of the team, like as bad as
Bloom,
as much as I can kill Brett Boone for being a bad manager, dude, what the hell?
Aaron Boone.
Is it Aaron? Whatever.
Every week, buddy, you got to do it at least once. So we got that out of the way now. Go ahead.
Is Bob Boone still out there managing?
Daniel Boone.
Speaking of Daniel Boone, Davy Crockett was a hell. But the thing that I'm looking at is it just doesn't matter, man. No hitters are just. We've already had 7 or 8 this year, and we're not even counting like the ones that they're not considering no hitters, even though there weren't hits in the game. I mean, that's just, I don't know. I wouldn't wreck a pitching staff to worry about a blurb on the radar.
Well, Cora said it was a no-brainer for him. He said it was a no-brainer to go and get him. And
a perfect game, I totally get it.
Okay,
But
I was just curious.
that's just, I mean, that's just my take on it because no one cares about him anymore. Used to, it was like breaking news and people you actually get ESPN to go to the game. They would break in the middle of anything to go. Now it's like the blurb across the radar. You'll see so and so threw a no hitter, and then it's not up there long enough to see that what's flashing is that Simone Biles made the U.S. Olympic team. And you're like, why the hell wouldn't she? But as far as this next stretch run, because we got to jump off as long as this stretch run is concerned, I think you may not know about where the Yankees stand. So I don't think they're going to make a move until the end of that run. Like what I say, July 29th.
Yeah,
huge, is absolutely enormous for where they're at.
But what percentage of those games coming up do the Yankees have to win in order to make it that way, though? Because if they drop another 4 or 5 in a row, it kind of changes the dynamics of everything. But if they win the next 6,
Well, but I still think it's going to be for the totality when you get to the 29th. I really think it just comes down to how many games there are at first place. So a lot of it is anchored on how Boston and Tampa are playing. You look at Tampa's schedule, and they're off today, and then they go to Washington. And Tampa in the month of July, they've got it's not that bad of a trek. It's at Toronto, which obviously they're playing good baseball, but you get the Cleveland and Toronto again at home. And then after the All-Star break, they're at Atlanta, who isn't playing good baseball, at home against the Orioles, at the Indians, and then that's when they hit Yankees and Red Sox back to back. But those are at home. I think Tampa will be buyers, but typically they don't buy big time. They don't, they'll add a piece here and there that makes sense to them, and it won't even make a splash. But analytically, when you get to the end of the season, you're like, dude, that was a pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's lightning in a bottle every trade they make. It's really annoying, but they're very good at it. They're very good at doing that.
Hey man, we got clipped coupons, but you're over there just spreading like a drunken sailor. So
That's very true. That is an accurate statement. Really is.
What is your walk-off for, I guess, for 2 weeks, Timus?
Happy 4th of July. Everybody be safe. Go enjoy America, baby. Happy 4th of July.
And Mr. Angelo, what's your walk-off until the 12th of July?
12th.
Till the 12th. Again, happy 4th of July. Stay safe. We have Wimbledon on right now. Yesterday was that big golf championship, right? That the final playoff round that everyone was talking about. So we have good sports coming up. I think the hot dog eating competition is coming up too, right?
Yeah.
Hope they're still doing that.
It hasn't gotten cancel cultured for some reason. Yeah.
Yeah. So just everyone enjoy the next few weeks.
And you mark my words, someone's going to cancel culture Wimbledon, because we were talking about this on the morning show. Timus, do you know what the one rule of attire is at Wimbledon that you have to abide by?
No.
Everything you wear has to be pristine white. How the hell is that not going to get cancel culture in 2021? By Friday, they're going to be out there in raincoat. My walk-off is enjoy the 4th of July weekend, y'all. we will be back. And then, of course, we got all the other shows on Armchair Quarterbacks. And this week, looking forward to a lot of good baseball, but also Stanley Cup playoffs start tonight. So go Tampa, go Lightning. That place will be rocking sideways, and there'll be crickets over at the baseball stadium. It's ridiculous. It truly is. I blame Teamus for all of it.
Play ball.